Now for the twined chain bind off. I'm going to begin, as I did with the cast on, with 2 separate sources of yarn. I'm going to chain into the first 3 stitches. And after the first one, I start binding them off. So I've worked into 2 purple stitches now, and now into 3. And I've got an even multiple of 3 stitches on this edge. So I've worked into 3 purple stitches, and now I'm going to chain 5. Just as with the cast on edge, the number of chains is up to you, depending on how full you want the edge, and so are the number of stitches that you attach the edge to. When I've completed my chain, I'm going to elongate and bring my pigtail forward. And that's what I did on this edge. If I wanted the edge to twist in the opposite direction, I would take the tails backward. As long as you stick to one or the other, you'll get a consistent chain. Now I do the same with the pink yarn. Work into 3 purple stitches. Worked into the 3rd. And it's easy to see how many stitches you've used. We'll look on the inside in just a second. Five. And you can see how quickly you get into a tangle. So elongate and bring forward. I'm using modified conventional bind off technique with a crochet hook. There's a video on that, and I'll put a link in the description. But you can use regular bind off just as well. Now use another 3 purple stitches. And you want to be accurate about the number of stitches you've used if you've got an even multiple going around, say a sock top, and you want it to match perfectly all the way around. So I think that was 4. I'll put one more in just for, and then bring this forward. Oops, I didn't elongate my last stitch. That's just to stop it running away if it accidentally gets pulled on. When I go back into the previous chain, I must make sure I don't twist the chain around and work into the next 3 purple stitches. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to work right the way around the edge now, repeating the groups of 3 and the chain. And we'll just take a quick look inside to see how you can keep track of how many stitches you've used up. So on the inside, you can actually see in the chain 1, 2, 3 stitch heads. And in the blue chain, if I stretch that out a bit, 1, 2, 3 stitch heads. Alternatively, you can just look at it and count from underneath. There's 3 stitches there. There's 3 purple stitches there. So you can check that you're using up your stitches as planned as you go round. Having continued all the way round, binding off the stitches in groups of 3, I reach the end and make the final chain on each colour. Now all that remains is to connect the chains. So withdraw the last loop. So that's actually the 5th chain. Tuck the start of that same chain to the correct position and sew under both sides of the first bound off stitch and go back in the chain you came out from. That chain is now perfectly connected, and all we have to do with the second colour is the same thing all over again. So withdraw the last tail, make sure the twist is correct, so around the base of the first one bound off in the same colour, back into the stitch where you came out from, and that perfectly connects that bound off chain. And now all that remains to be done is to hide the ends on the inside, and you've achieved a cast on and a bound off edge that are extremely similar to one another.